Hello students, how are you? So let's start with today's biology class. In the previous session we have started with kingdom Protista, that are unicellular eukaryotes, and in which we have studied that we have classified the kingdom Protista into three major groups. One group was photosynthetic protists, in which we have discussed already, and second group was saprophytic protists. So saprophytic, these are also called consumer decomposers protists. So saprophytic protists includes slime molds. Slime molds are those saprophytic protists which feed on dead organic matter. Okay, so dead organic matter basically includes dead leaves, twigs, etc. These slime molds, they move along these twigs and leaves to feed upon this dead organic matter. So that is why they are called decomposers, that they help in decomposition. Next is, under suitable conditions they form an aggregate called plasmodium. Plasmodium is like a leaf like structure. इस तरह से ये सब इकट्ठे हो जाते हैं, एक एग्रीगेशन बना लेते हैं, which is called as plasmodium, and this will happen only in the suitable conditions. Next is, under unfavorable conditions they form spores. As you know, spores, they have hard thick coverings around them which will help them to survive in the unfavorable conditions, and these spores, they spread through air current, so they also help them, these slime molds, to spread and to increase its number. Okay, so is it clear? So this is all about slime molds. So the basic structure is, you should know that the plasmodium they form which is under favorable conditions. So let's see the next category of protists. So next group of protista is heterotrophic protists. As in the previous group we have studied about saprophytic, they are also heterotrophic, but we have made a different category of this group, that is saprophytic, and this will include heterotrophic protists. So they are heterotrophic in nature, they can act as predators or parasites. Predators means when they feed upon other organisms, smaller organisms, that means the still small microscopic organisms which will act as prey, and parasites means when they live inside or outside the body of other organisms, then they will be showing parasitic mode of nutrition. They are believed to be primitive relatives of animals, because you know, when we will study kingdom Animalia, then we will find that the Animalia kingdom, all the organisms are heterotrophic in nature, but they include different types of heterotrophic nutrition like parasitic, predators, holozoic, saprophytic also. So they will be considered as the primitive relatives of animals, क्योंकि यहाँ से proper heterotrophic mode of nutrition जो है वो हमें show होता है. ठीक है. So in the protozoans protists we are going to study four categories, four groups further: amoeboid protozoans, flagellated protozoans, ciliated protozoans, and sporozoans. So these four categories we are going to study now. So first we will start with amoeboid protozoans. So the first category of protozoan protist is amoeboid protozoans. Basically we have divided these protozoans into various categories on the basis of their movement and how do they capture food. Okay, so let's see the habitat. They can be found in fresh water, sea water, or moist soil, because they are aquatic in nature. Two examples are given in your NCERT book, that is amoeba and enta-amoeba. Okay, so as the name is there, amoeboid protozoans, so the best example is amoeba, and Amoeba act as a predator. As I told you, they can either act as predators. They have a heterotrophic mode of nutrition, so they can either act as predators or they can act as parasites. So amoeba here acts as a predator and feed upon its prey by putting out pseudopodia. So they have amoeboid, these are in the amoeboid category because they move with the help of pseudopodia, as well as they capture their food with the help of pseudopodia. As we have already studied about nutrition in amoeba in class 10, in which you have studied the detailed process of how they capture the food. So they show predator mode of nutrition, in which they will catch its prey with the help of its pseudopodia. So if this is the amoeba and this is the prey, in which it can either be a microscopic organism. So when this prey comes near the amoeba, the cell membrane of amoeba is, it is flexible, it doesn't have cell wall around it. So it will form this invaginations around this prey, and this will be called as pseudopodia. Okay. Pseudopodias are also called as false feet because they act as feet, they help in their locomotion, but they are not actually feet. That is why they are called false feet. Second example is entamoeba. Entamoeba show parasitic mode of nutrition because it lives inside the body of other organism. Most common example is they found in the human intestine. So they act as parasitic or pathogenic also, means they act as pathogens. So they act as pathogens. So they live in the human intestine and cause the disease amoebic dysentery disease. Okay, so that may cause diarrhea and all. So they are they are pathogenic in nature and they are parasitic. They live inside the human intestine. How do they survive in such conditions? How do they protect themselves in such conditions? Actually, they form a protective covering around them, a thick wall around them, which are called as cysts. That is why if the person is suffering from this type of pathogenic disease of entamoeba or amoeboid protozoans, then there will be very difficult to cure this disease because they form their hard covering around them, which is called as cyst. So neither any antibiotic or any other medicine does not affect them. So they can survive in such a low pH or whatever the conditions are there, they can survive in that conditions because of the cyst. And when they get favorable conditions, the cyst wall break down and the amoebas comes out from the cyst wall. So this is all about amoeboid protozoans. Let's see the next category of protozoans. So next protozoan is flagellated protozoan. As the name is saying, flagellated means this protozoan has flagella for its movement. They are also heterotrophic, as it is related to the heterotrophic protozoans. They can be either free living or parasitic. Free living when they freely lives inside the like soil or everywhere, and parasitic or in water, and parasitic is when they lives inside the body of other organism. So they have flagella for its movement. The most important or common example of it is Trypanosoma. Trypanosoma gambiens. So Trypanosoma gambiens is an parasitic flagellated protozoan which is found in human body. It enters into the human body. First it enters into the blood plasma and then it moves towards the brain. In the cerebrospinal fluid of brain, it is found in the cerebrospinal fluid of brain and cause a disease which is called as sleeping sickness. So what happens in this disease? When this parasite enters into the cerebrospinal fluid of the brain, it may get the person may get unconscious. The person is not able to, means it is a brain disease, neural disease, and the person may get unconscious and the disease may get severe. Okay, so this is the parasitic protozoan. The most common example is Trypanosoma, which is given in your NCERT book. So let's see the next protozoan, that is ciliated protozoan. So next protozoan is ciliated protozoan. These are aquatic and free living, and these are the most active type of protozoan because they have thousands of cilia over their surface which help in the movement of such organisms. They are found in water basically, and these cilia also help them to take in food into the gullet present in the body. Means like in our body we have a gut or gut present which is like a cavity present inside the body. Similarly they have a gullet, so these cilia also helps the water laden food to enter into the gullet. The best example is paramecium. I will show you how the cilia help the paramecium in the movement as well as to engulf the food with the help of a video.
So holozoic nutrition is a type of heterotrophic nutrition that is characterized by ingestion, that means intake of food, followed by internal processing of food particles. However, internal processing process in holozoic nutrition depends on body design of the organism. Like here we see organisms with different systems to process the ingested food. But in a single celled organism like amoeba, food is engulfed by body surface. Here you see amoeba is extending its false foot around the food particle. This is the food particle, and these false foot are because of the flexibility of the cell surface, and that's how it fuses, and this is how the food particle is taken inside. Now this process of obtaining food by amoeba is called phagocytosis. So amoeba takes in food using temporary finger-like extensions of the cell surface called pseudopodia, means false foot, which fuse over the food particle forming a food vacuole. This is a food vacuole. So in this picture we see that the food particle is present inside the food vacuole. Inside the food vacuole, this is a complete picture of paramecium. Paramecium is another protist. Unlike amoeba, it has a definite shape, so it doesn't form any pseudopodia to engulf food. Rather, food is taken inside at a specific spot. This is the specific spot called mouth. By the movement of these cilia. These cilia are the small hair-like structure present throughout the body surface of paramecium. It covers the entire surface. And then this food particle, this is how these food particles enter through mouth, and they also form part of these food vacuoles which move around throughout the cytoplasm, and undigested food is then again thrown out through this spot called anus.
So the next category of protozoan is sporozoans. Why they are called sporozoans? Because there is a stage in this which is called sporozoite. I will show you. So they have a parasitic mode of nutrition, and basically they are endoparasites, means they live inside the body of other organism. The most common example is Plasmodium, which cause malaria in human. So this is the most common malarial parasite, which is actually a sporozoite, sporozoan of Protista kingdom or protozoan. When we will study its life cycle, actually its detail is in class 12, but I will show you a little about this, that in its life cycle they have two phases, means they are digenetic. They require two hosts to complete its life cycle. So one is mosquito and second is human body. Okay, so they are digenetic, but all the organisms of sporozoans are not digenetic. Some are monogenetic also, which requires only one host to complete its life cycle. But the Plasmodium is the most common malarial parasite, which is a sporozoan, and it is a digenetic which requires two hosts to complete its life cycle. That is, one is mosquito and second is human body. As we know, the malaria is not because of it is only because of the biting of mosquitoes, but inside the mosquitoes saliva this Plasmodium is present, which enters into the human body and completes its life cycle. So it has both phase, asexual and sexual phase, one in the mosquito and other is in the human body. So this is a protozoan protist. So I have shown you one of the stage of this Plasmodium Plasmodium vivax. Its complete name is Plasmodium vivax, which causes malaria in human. So one of its stage is called sporozoite. That is why it is called sporozoan. So it is called sporozoite stage of Plasmodium vivax, and it has shape like this. If you will see the structure, they have a nucleus, the cytoplasm, and the outer covering of the cytoplasm is called pellicle. This membrane is called pellicle. So this is the structure of the sporozoite stage of Plasmodium vivax. There are so many stages through which this Plasmodium vivax has to pass to complete its life cycle, in a half portion in the mosquito and half portion in the human body. But here you need to see this stage only, because of this stage its name is sporozoan. Okay, so this is all about kingdom Protista. With this we are finished with this kingdom. Next we will start with kingdom fungi.